everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. I got an email from Micah und Abi Prochaska from Germany, and sorry that it's taken me so long to get to your email. I'm trying to get through all of them. I want to respond to all. And they shared this article from Munich RE that talked about all the natural catastrophes that happened last year. And there were a lot. I kind of did a recap on New Year's Eve, talking about just everything, not just natural disasters, but everything that happened in 2021. But I thought it'd be worth going over this because this zeroes in just on the natural aspect of it, of all the craziness last year. So let's start at the top. There's a few things that I highlighted. Okay, so the article is called Hurricanes, Cold Waves, Tornadoes, Weather Disasters in USA Dominate Natural Disaster Losses in 2021. Alongside 2005 and 2011, the year 2021 proved to be the second costliest ever for the insurance sector. Record year 2017 was $146 billion. Overall losses from natural disasters were the fourth highest to date. Let's see, the record year was 2011 at $355 billion. Hurricane Ida was the year's costliest natural disaster, with overall losses of $65 billion. Okay, so yeah, Ida was a big problem last year. There's a section here talking about tornadoes. In December 2021, a series of severe storms across several states in the central and southeastern USA led to exceptionally high losses, especially for the month of December. Dozens of violent tornadoes with wind speeds of up to 310 kilometers per hour or 190 miles per hour carved a trail of devastation across 6 states. And this is where we get that quad state tornado that was basically a record breaker, or at least we're still waiting to hear word if it was or not, but they suspect that it was. Went an extremely long distance, over 200 miles, and interestingly, it traces the path of the 2024 eclipse that's going to go across the United States. Now down here, there's a really neat graphic to look at. Relevant natural catastrophe loss events worldwide 2021. Okay, so here's the map. It talks about Hurricane Ida, the tornadoes, the winter storm at the beginning of the year, earthquake in Haiti, and I wish they had it here, but I want to say that it was 8.0 or more. All I know is that there were at least 2 8.0 earthquakes. This one may have been a 7.9, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a big earthquake, caused a lot of damage. We had the La Palma volcano that went off last year. Now, I checked on it. I didn't know until today, but as of December 25th, so Christmas, I guess, well, I don't know when they called it, but there's this article that came out on Christmas. It says, La Palma's volcanic eruption is officially over, but its devastating toll lingers. And then it has a picture of a house destroyed and covered in ash. Just a horrible scene. If it wasn't such a horrible thing that happened, that's actually a really pretty picture from a photography standpoint. Okay. And then there were crazy floods going on in Europe. Here it says Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium, but according to footage that's been on the Two Preachers channel and probably Jason A as well, those are 2 really good channels that cover that kind of stuff. Europe was seeing lots of really intense flooding that I'm not accustomed to seeing. You know, when I think of flooding, I don't typically think of Europe, but it was the type of flooding that was like really intense, sweeping away cars and destroying structures and stuff like that. We had Typhoon Rai, which I had only kind of heard about that. I don't know if it was in the comments section, and I kind of wish that I had covered that. I might have to do that in another video, because I know what happened there was significant. I mean, look right here. It says fatalities, 408. And the thing about the Philippines is that that's another one of the powerhouses in the church. So this year, 2022, we had the Tonga volcano that went off. Fortunately, there weren't too many. There was only like a handful of fatalities last I checked. But in the Philippines, because like here, let me pull it up. Let's see, LDS membership by country. We come here every so often. Has a table. Let's do it by sort it by number of members. And the Philippines is in the number 4 spot. So we have the United States, Mexico, number 2, Brazil, number 3, and Philippines at the number 4 spot. So if things continue to go well there in terms of convert baptisms, it'll probably be the next country that breaks 1 million. So I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know why the church is so successful there. I wanted to look into them and see if there's any group, any tribe that has any claim to Israelite ancestry, to see if it's part of all those communities that we've been looking into on the channel. Yeah, I need to put that on my to-do list. But for some reason, the Philippines is doing really well. I do know that there's a lot of Spanish blood there, because there was a time when Spain essentially like colonized the Philippines, and from Spanish blood you're going to have Jewish blood. In fact, there was a thing that I was reading that said 20% of Spaniards have Jewish blood because of the Sephardic Jews that were in the Iberian Peninsula. And I'm assuming that the same probably holds true for Portugal as well. So anyway, I'll look into that, but that might be significant as far as what the Lord is doing with the world. If he's, so to speak, kind of beginning with his own house, separating wheat and tares and stuff like that, then that may have had something to do with it, but who knows? Okay, let's see. There was a Henan flood in China. I had not heard of that. Earthquake in Japan. A lot of money. Let's see. I'm looking at fatalities. So so there's 3. Excuse me. So there's 3 that are showing fatalities. There's Cyclone Siroja in Indonesia with 272. And then Typhoon Rai in Philippines with 408. And then the Haiti earthquake, 2,248. So that really was quite serious. Let's look through these slides. High losses from natural disasters in 2021, 280 billion US. There's La Palma, I'm assuming, right there. High proportion of natural disaster losses in USA. Okay, I'm not going to read some of it. 57% of natural disaster losses in 2021 were not insured. So over half. More than 3,000 properties destroyed by La Palma. And there's some pretty incredible footage of that. Houses where the lava just goes through the house. Really sad. Okay, Hurricane Ida. Okay, the deep freeze. Now, this didn't just hit Texas. I know Texas was the hardest hit, but this affected me last year. At the time, it rolled through Kansas, and we had 3 bottle calves. All 3 of them were Holsteins. We had a bull and 2 heifers. And one of our friends said that, like dairy breeds, they're not as hardy due to breeding. I don't know if that was like his theory or if that's like officially, but the bull, anyway, they all like got sick, but we were able to save 2 of them, but the bull died. And it had to do with this stupid deep freeze because they got like pneumonia We did everything that we could. We tube fed them and shots and just everything. But no, it took our bull. So that sucked. Devastating floods in Europe, 46 billion in euros. And here you can see some devastation here. Okay, and then we're back to the map. Okay, and then, what effect is climate change having? Now, I'm not getting into the politics of this. You could probably guess where I stand. I tend to think that whatever is happening is probably natural. It might have to deal with what the Lord's doing. He may be giving the world, a big, long warning period. And we know that Satan has real power in this world, and he can essentially persuade world governments, give them power, kind of set them on a certain track and on a certain, sheet of music. And, he may be directing them to kind of cover up what's actually happening. He may know. Maybe the Lord is warming up the earth, getting it ready for the millennium. Now, that might be kind of far out there. I don't know. But, how long have we heard about this for? It makes sense to me that it might be a warning to us that, hey, we're in that zone now. We're in the zone. The world is heating up. The scriptures talk about mountains melting and stuff like that. It seems like it's going to get really hot if we take it literally. So I guess we'll have to see. We know that there's going to be a burning, right, of the wicked, but from the scriptures, it seems like the scriptures that talk about that, the burning is going to come from simply the glory of the Lord, that the wicked aren't going to be able to withstand it. I guess because they're not going to be translated. So, you can put your theories down in the comments below, but let's just read this. The 2021 disaster statistics are striking because some of the extreme weather events are of the kind that are likely to become more frequent or more severe as a result of climate change. Among these are severe storms in the USA, including in the winter half year, or heavy rain followed by floods in Europe. For hurricanes, scientists anticipate that the proportion of severe storms and of storms with extreme rainfall will increase because of climate change. Even though events cannot automatically be attributed to climate change, analysis of the changes over decades provides plausible indications of a connection with the warming of the atmosphere and the oceans. Adapting to increasing risks due to climate change will be a challenge. Now, just thinking about this, just one last thought. If the Lord is doing this, if he, programmed this into the planet, this is supposed to be happening, and it's supposed to be happening at this time, how insidious is it if world leaders or those that are in secret combinations that have power to, control the narrative, how insidious would it be if they know what's actually happening, that it's the Lord getting the world ready for the second coming, but they're trying to blame us, like you and me, as the reason that this is happening? That would be so messed up. Okay, but I don't want to linger on that too long. Okay, so that's it for this article. Now, in Europe, okay, like I said, I was blown away this last year seeing the footage of the flooding happening there. Okay, in July 2021, several European countries were affected by severe floods. Some were catastrophic, causing deaths and widespread damage. At least 242 people have died in the floods, including 196 in Germany, 42 in Belgium, 2 in Romania, 1 in Italy, and 1 in Austria. Which, I don't know why they didn't include that on the map here. That's within that 200 range, but whatever. Okay. Now, it's interesting because you have here a list of the countries affected. You have Austria, Belgium, Croatia, Czech Republic, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Romania, excuse me, Switzerland, United Kingdom. Now, if I remember right, I could have sworn that I saw flood footage in Spain, I think in Portugal. Oh yeah, they have France listed here. So yeah, I think there's a couple countries that probably should be on here, but I mean, what do I know? I don't know. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is the fact that a city in Utah named Enoch flooded. And this was kind of a, this was kind of a big event. Enoch prepped for floods. It didn't help when the rain came. Now, of course, this is an article by the Salt Lake Tribune, who likes to, make people of faith or people that like to prepare feel bad, but whatever. Enoch's flood is massively worse than the floods that hit Cedar City last week, an official said. Here's a picture of it. You can also find videos. Here's an aerial view. So this was actually catching the attention of other Christian YouTubers, not of our faith. They picked up on the fact, like, hey, a place called Enoch flooded, and I found that interesting. You guys, Enoch is coming up an awful lot lately in church literature. The Liahona, Come Follow Me. In talks, I've actually tracked it. I've tracked it on my tracker. You know what? Screw it. Let's just pull it up right now. Okay. Google Drive. Phrase tracker. I'll have to unhide all these. Come on. Come on. Do it. There we go. We will just come over here. Where is it? Sorry, bear with me. Oh, there we go. There's Enoch. Come over here. Let's zoom in. So, look at this. In 2020, Enoch was mentioned 7 times, which that's the highest of all time. Oh, except for 1973. So, just like, everything else in the 70s, there was a lot of talk of, like, Enoch and everything else in the 70s, and then things quieted down, and then suddenly we're talking a lot about Enoch again. I also, actually, I guess this is a good time, as good a time as any, I wanted to try and do kind of like a magazine tracker, like the church magazines. It's harder to do because you have to rely on the church website. And you have to do kind of like, you have to check a lot of links because it's hard to explain. But I was able to do Enoch, and as far as church magazines go, this year, 2022, is the highest of all time in references to Enoch. And we're only at the beginning of the year. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, it's because we're in Come Follow Me and we're in the Old Testament. And that's true, but there have been other years in the past when we've been studying the Old Testament for Sunday school or, whatever. So, I don't know. It's just something to think about. Like I said, a lot of stuff is coming out right now about Enoch in conference, in church magazines, in Come Follow Me. There's a storm there, or a flood, a big flood that happened last year in Enoch. So, believe what you want. But that's going to be it for this video. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave your thoughts, opinions, impressions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share this with anyone that might find this interesting. And I'll talk to you guys later.